If you're like most people, you probably have some regrets. For example, not being in the right relationship, or choosing the wrong career, or something or the other. I, for one, used to have a lot of regrets until a few years ago when I learned this one principle that's allowed me to both let go of my sense of regrets and also cause a positive change for future decisions. So, today I'm going to talk about that one principle. And this one idea that's really sunk into my being is that a life is measured in decades and not in months or years. So, what that means is that no matter where you are, if you make the right choices now, then your future 10 years from now is going to look extremely different from your life in this moment, in this day, in this month, and even in this year. So, in a kind of a period of 10 years, life transforms completely if you make the right choices. So, to give you a personal example, just about 6 or 7 years ago, my life looked very, very different. I'd just come back from a year of travel and had lost all my money because I came back on the day Lehman Brothers had collapsed, which had wiped out all my savings. So I had no money. I had exited a 6 or 7 year old relationship, so I was single. I was also close to losing my job in the middle of a very, very big recession. So basically, I'd kind of like hit rock bottom about 6 or 7 years ago, right? And if I look at life now in these 7 years, life looks very, very different. I have a wonderful family with 2 kids. My books, my career has done reasonably well. So things have look completely different, right? So to kind of project to your situation right now, for example, if you feel you're stuck in a bad relationship, in this day, if you make the decision to go out or exit that relationship, that's going to be a very tough decision, right? And it's going to be extremely hard to make. It's going to be very painful. You'll feel very lonely. Even in this month, it's going to look very difficult. And in this year also, things are probably not going to get any better because you'll probably feel an even deeper sense of loneliness and pain for having gone through that situation. But if you're making the right choices, then a decade from now, things could look extremely different, right? You could be, or you'd likely be, as I said, if you make the right choices, you're likely going to be in a relationship that is much more attuned to who you are. You're going to flourish as a human being because of that. Life will look much, much more pleasant and peaceful than it does now. Right. And in the same way, if you are stuck in a job that you don't like or a career that you don't like, making the decision to leave right now is going to be very tough because you're going to be in a period of time where you're going to have to start from rock bottom again. You have to climb up the ladder again and start kind of a new career again. So all of those things are very painful in these days, months, even in a year or a 2 year period. But 10 years from now, you'll be in a very, very fulfilling career, which gives you a lot more joy and excitement and energy in your life every day. So what life looks like in these days, months, and years is completely different from what life could look like in a decade and will likely look like in a decade if you make the right choices. Should give you a lot of perspective in on about your regret in this present moment and about looking back because you know that the future could look completely different. So that's the one principle that's allowed me to overcome regret, which is to believe in this idea that a life is measured in decades and not in months, days, or years. Very linked to this idea is this idea of radical transformation. So I know, for example, that the reason I regret any action is because I've not made the right decisions, which has led me to situations of pain that I regret. So I know that the habits, pattern, constructs that have led me to that decision have to be broken down and changed completely. So that, for example, could mean that I do a complete physical, emotional, spiritual transformation, which means I clean up my diet, I exercise much more frequently, I read the right books, I meditate longer, I surround myself with people or with thinking that elevates me. So any all the habits and patterns that I had led me to a certain set of reactions in the world, and I'm going to change those habits and patterns in a very dramatic, transformative way so that I'm operating from a place of much more silence and purity in order to make the right decisions going forward. So, if I'm able to do these two things, believe that a life is going to look very different in a decade, and make those internal changes that allow me to act from that place of silence and purity, that will be the catalyst for these positive changes. Then, for a large part, it allows me to not regret the present moment at all. because I know that this moment is temporary and it's going to go through a massive, massive transformation. And that's happened in my life multiple times. So right now, I'm in a place that I don't regret what happens in the moment because I know I'm going to change it in the future. I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. This is Karan Bajaj, and I want to offer you my free meditation video course today.